Today we're covering how to build an email finder tool using web scraping and proxies. IO, Lusha, and Apollo charge significant monthly fees for email discovery for B2B teams that need large volumes of verified business emails. Building your own tool can be more cost-effective and customizable. The Visionis email finding combines multiple techniques. Direct scraping finds email addresses already published on the web. Company team pages, contact pages, press releases, public documents, and job posting instructions often contain emails. These are the highest confidence results because they require no guessing or verification. When you find one or more email addresses from a company, you can determine their naming convention and apply it to generate candidate addresses for other employees. If you discover John Smith at company.com, you can reasonably predict that Jane.do at company.com follows the same pattern. People occasionally share their email addresses on social media profiles, forum posts, public directories, conference speaker pages, and personal websites. GitHub commit histories are particularly useful for technical contacts, as many developers commit with their work email. Discovered and generated email addresses must be validated through SMTP verification, catch-all detection, and deliverability testing before they are useful for outreach. Your email finder needs 4 main components. The input accepts a person's name and company domain. The pattern discovery engine scrapes company websites and other sources to find existing email addresses and determine naming conventions. The email generation module applies discovered patterns to create candidate addresses. The verification pipeline validates candidates through DNS, SMTP, and deliverability checks. Data research tools, mobile proxies, power the web scraping components of this system, providing reliable access to company websites, search engines, LinkedIn, and social platforms. To discover company email patterns, visit the company's website and systematically check pages where email addresses are commonly published. The contact page often contains general and department-specific emails. The team or about page may list individual email addresses for leadership. The website footer frequently includes a general email address. Press and news pages contain PR contact emails. Job posting instructions sometimes include hiring manager emails. Legal pages including privacy policy and terms may include compliance officer emails. Using data research tools mobile proxies, you can crawl these pages reliably even for websites behind CDN protection like Cloudflare. Rotate IPs per domain to avoid triggering rate limits. When scanning page content for email addresses, look for direct mail to links in the HTML source. Match email patterns in visible text using regex, and check JavaScript variables and data attributes for embedded emails. Handle common obfuscation patterns, including name@company.com, notation, reverse strings, HTML entity encoding, and emails assembled by JavaScript at runtime. Once you find one or more email addresses from a company, determine the naming convention. The most common patterns are first name, last name, first initial last name, first name underscore last name, last name first initial, first name only, and first initial dot last name. Most companies use one of about 10 to 15 common patterns. Building a pattern library with confidence scores helps you prioritize which patterns to test first. LinkedIn profiles sometimes contain email addresses in the contact info section when you're connected, in profile summaries or about sections, and in published articles or posts. This requires mobile proxies with sticky sessions from data research tools. You can also search Google for publicly available email addresses using targeted queries. Search for the person's name combined with the company email domain in quotes. Try site-specific searches on the company domain for contact or email mentions. And use broader searches combining the person's name with company name and the word email. Data research tools proxies prevent your scraping IP from being rate limited by Google, which matters when performing hundreds or thousands of email lookups. People sometimes share email addresses on Twitter or X profile bios, GitHub commit histories and profiles, personal websites or blogs, conference speaker profile pages, and industry forum member profiles. Each platform requires its own scraping approach and proxy configuration, with mobile proxies recommended for social platforms. Business emails also appear in publicly accessible documents, including PDF reports and white papers, SEC filings for US-listed companies, government contract documents, academic publications from company employees, and patent filings listing inventor contact information. When you know the company's email pattern but cannot find a specific person's email through direct discovery, generate candidate addresses by applying the detected pattern. Given it a name like John Smith at company.com with a detected pattern of first name that's the suit by generate, John does always generate multiple candidates ranked by likelihood, starting with the most common pattern for the company if known, then globally common patterns. Hero name variations require special handling. Try both formal and informal name variants like Robert and Bob, William and Bill, or Michael and Mike. Handle hyphenated last names by testing both hyphenated and non-hyphenated versions. Account for middle names and initials. For Southeast Asian markets, many professionals use English given names alongside local names. Chinese names may follow family name first ordering. Some professionals use initials rather than full names. Malay and Indonesian names may not follow Western first-last patterns. Handle these by generating additional candidates for each naming convention. Generating emails are useless without verification, so implement a multi-step verification pipeline. First, verify the domain accepts email by checking for MX records. Identify the email provider, whether Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, or custom, as this affects subsequent verification steps. Detect catch-all domains that accept email for any address, making SMTP verification unreliable for those domains. For SMTP verification, connect to the mail server and check if the address exists by issuing hello or EHALO, mail from, and RCPT2 commands. A 250 response indicates the address exists. A 550 response means the address does not exist. 4550 or 451 responses indicate temporary errors requiring retry. A 552 response means the mailbox exists but is full. Some servers accept all addresses as catch-all. Some graylist unknown senders requiring retry after a delay. Rate limiting requires spaced-out verification, and using a clean sending IP is essential to avoid being blocked. We'll detect catch-all domains by sending RCPT2 for a random, certainly non-existent address. If the server accepts it, the domain is catch-all. For these domains, rely on pattern matching and confidence scores rather than SMTPD verification results. Assign a confidence score to each discovered email based on multiple factors. Finding the email directly on the company website adds 40 points. Pattern matching, the known company convention, adds 25. Passing SMTP verification adds 30 to them. Being on a catch-all domain subtracts 15. Matching the most common global format adds 10. Confirmation from multiple sources adds 20. Being found on LinkedIn adds 25. Only output emails with confidence scores above your quality threshold, typically 60 or higher. This ensures your sales team works with reliable contact data. Under the discovery phase, different sources require different proxy approaches. Company websites need moderate proxy requirements, so rotate IPs per domain, and data center or residential proxies work for most sites, with data research tools, mobile proxies for sites behind CDN protection. Google search benefits from mobile proxies, because Google aggressively blocks data center and many residential IPs. Data research tools mobile IPs from CA carriers maintain reliable access to Google search. LinkedIn requires mobile proxies with sticky sessions and data research tools. Mobile proxies are essential here as LinkedIn is the most challenging platform to scrape. Social networks have strong anti-scraping measures that mobile IPs are best equipped to handle. eSMTPD verification does not require web scraping proxies, but it does require clean sending IPs that are not blacklisted, proper reverse DNS setup, rate limiting to avoid triggering mail server defenses, and rotation across verification IPs to distribute the load. To process email finding requests in batches grouped by company domain, discover the company pattern once and apply it to all employees at that company, dramatically reducing the per contact scraping cost. Cache aggressively to reduce redundant scraping. Company email patterns can be cached indefinitely since they rarely change. MX records should be cached for 24 hours. Catch-all domain status should be cached for 7 days. Individual email verification results should be cached for 30 days. Company website scraping results should be cached for 7 days. A well-built email finder should achieve a 60 to 80% discovery rate, 90% or better verification accuracy for non-catch-all domains, processing speed of 50 to 100 emails per hour, with verification and a bounce rate under 5% on verified emails. Build your own email finder when you need more than 10,000 lookups per month. Want custom data sources or SEA-specific discovery? Need tight integration with your existing pipeline? or when commercial tool costs exceed your proxy and development investment. For teams doing high-volume prospecting in SE markets, the build approach often pays for itself within 2 to 3 months. Data research tools' proxy costs are typically a fraction of commercial email finder subscriptions at equivalent volumes, with the added benefit of unlimited queries and custom data sources. Comply with PDPA and other SCA data protection regulations when collecting business email addresses. Only collect business contact information from public sources for legitimate B2B communication. Ensure outreach complies with local anti-spam regulations. Provide opt-out mechanisms. Do not scrape personal non-business email addresses. Building your own email finder tool gives you control over data quality, cost, and customization. By combining website scraping, pattern detection, and SMTP verification with reliable proxy infrastructure, you can discover verified business emails at scale. Data research tools, mobile proxies provide the foundation for the scraping phase with reliable access to company websites, Google Search, LinkedIn, and social platforms across Southeast Asian markets. Combined with proper pattern detection and verification logic, you can build an email finder that rivals commercial tools at a fraction of the ongoing cost. Start with company website scraping and pattern detection as your foundation. Add additional discovery sources over time, and always verify before sending to maintain your sender reputation and outreach effectiveness. When related reading, check out the guides on building an automated lead scraping pipeline with proxies, building a B2B contact enrichment pipeline with mobile proxies, how to scrape job listings at scale with rotating proxies, proxies for HR tech covering salary benchmarking and talent intelligence, how to scrape AliExpress product data without getting blocked, and Amazon buy box monitoring with proxy setup for continuous tracking. Those starts right to beat Tinty on Title. DataResearchTools.com has hundreds of articles on proxies, scraping, automation, and more. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.